Good day to everyone, and thank you so much for joining this session. My colleague Sonia and I will be presenting to you today. We will be covering the section about how do I apply for a coursework degree at UTS. I hope you find this session useful in submitting a complete application to UTS. So first half of the session, my colleague Sonia will present, and the second half I will be presenting. We will also be taking questions at the end of the session. If you have any questions, please put your questions on the chat section and we will answer at the end of the session. Good luck and thank you for joining us. Sonia, I'll let you present now.
Thank you, Nima. So step one is to select your course. At UTS, we do offer over 150 undergraduate courses and over 240 postgraduate courses, either by research or coursework. And we do have a wide range of subject areas where you can choose from analytics and data science, business and communication, design, architecture and building, education, engineering and IT, health, law, pharmacy, science and mathematics, and many more. We'll also share some of the links below. You can find what courses are offered at UTS using the Course Finder tool. And once you know what course you want to apply at UTS, make sure you visit the UTS handbook, where it has a comprehensive overview of the course content and structure. You can also find the detailed subject description for each subject, the subject majors and electives that you can choose for the specific program that you want to do. At UTS, we do also have events throughout the year. So if you want to know what's happening in your country or around the world, make sure you check out our website and find us or meet us at an event. And we can also help you with any further inquiries that you may have. Step two is to select a UTS education agent. Once you selected the course, make sure you nominate a UTS education agent. They are actually our official agents. So if you go to the UTS website, you'll find a list of agents that you can nominate. So with the UTS education agent, they can help you with your application to UTS. They also help you with your application from the start till the end of your application journey. Some of our agent networks may also help you with your student visa application and also with documentation verification. If there's no agents in your country, please make sure that you speak to agents in or nearest to your country of citizenship. Please remember that you must appoint an agent based on your country of citizenship. So once you've selected your course and you know which agent you want to use, please make sure you contact them and let them know that you want to apply for which course and which intake you want to apply for, and they can help you with your UTS application. I'll take you through the application and assessment process. So once you know what course you want to do, which agent you want to nominate, make sure you then complete the application form through our online portal. Please make sure that all the sections are completed, and then make sure that you pay the application fee via our payment secure site and provide all the relevant documents required for assessment. It's very important for you to make sure that you submit a complete application so that you do not delay the application process. It will require probably a week or so, a week or two, to send you the application outcome. In terms of application outcome, there are 4 possibilities. The first one is unsuccessful, where you have not met the entry requirement for the chosen program. However, if you tick yes for a pathway preference, that means you consent to for UTS to send your application to UTS College for a pathway program such as English or foundation, diploma or pre-master's course, then your application will be referred directly to UTS College. If you click no, we will send you an unsuccessful email with the procedure on how you need to contact UTS College. Second application outcome you may receive is a request for additional information, where we are unable to offer a conditional offer letter because you may have not provided all the supporting documentation such as CV or portfolio, or maybe you haven't provided your mark sheet. So it is important for you to provide a complete application. The third application outcome you may receive is a conditional offer letter, where it states what the conditions that you must satisfy for you to actually receive a full offer letter or unconditional offer letter from UTS. And once you receive an offer letter from UTS, you are able to accept your offer now. Once you receive your letter of offer, please make sure that you read your letter of offer and supporting information. The letter of offer would have the course summary, including the name of your program, the current course code, the tuition fee deposit, when the session commences, orientation, release and refund protocol. So all that important information you should look through and read through carefully. Once you're happy with the letter of offer and you want to accept the offer, make sure that you submit the signed acceptance form, provide the evidence of payment, the agent checklist, and also your scholarship acceptance if you have received a scholarship letter from UTS. Once we receive your application or your acceptance documentations, we will then, UTS compliance team will then conduct a GTE or genuine temporary entrant interview if it's required. So once you've passed the GTE interview, you will then receive a confirmation of enrollment letter or COE, which will then be issued to you. That is for you to actually apply for a student visa to study in Australia. You will also then receive a pre-departure information, which gives you a step-by-step instruction on how you activate your UTS email account, how you register or enroll into your subjects, and register for orientation. Please make sure that you attend orientation because it's a wonderful opportunity for you to know how the university works, how you may with different students from different faculties and from all walks of business that are available to you as an international student, like the UTS Careers, UTS Helps, UTS International. And there are also clubs and societies that you can join if you wish to. In terms of supporting documentations, some courses to provide the following. So the first one is academic history. Make sure you provide your academic history to date. So if you're applying for a master's degree, please make sure you provide your year 12 results. If you complete a diploma, provide your diploma results and statement of completion, your bachelor degree transcript and statement of completion. And if you have undertaken any master's degree or master's study, please make sure you provide the results and also the statement of completion for assessment. The second one is English proficiency. So if you have set any test, English tests like IELTS, PTE, or TOEFL, please make sure you provide a copy of the test result to UTS. And also, if you have undertaken a bachelor studies in English, please make sure that you provide a medium of instruction letter, which confirms that the all core subjects that you've studied in your university are conducted in English. So we can waive English for the standard English requirement of IELTS 6.5 and writing 6. However, for some courses that requires higher English requirement, you'll need to provide an English proficiency test. You also may need to provide a CV or resume to identify gaps. So if you have any gaps after your year 12 or your master's study, you'll need to know what you've been doing during those periods. Some courses may require work experience letters as well. So if you are required to provide a work experience letter, please make sure that you provide a document that it should be on the letterhead of the company letterhead, and also provide it has information on the date it was issued, your position, your job description, your employment dates, and also should be signed by the director or the HR of the company. Some courses like design and architecture, you may need to provide personal statement and portfolio. If so, then you'll need to provide the documentations. Financial plan, we may require a financial plan from you to show that you have sufficient funds for your studies, for the duration of your studies, in terms of living and tuition fee expenses. Last but not least, visa history. If you or your immediate family have had any visa refusals, be it tourist visa, student visa, or you've overstayed in a country, please make sure you declare that on the application form, and also provide the visa refusals letter or supporting documentations, and also a personal statement as to how your personal circumstances have changed. I'll pass it back to Nima now to take you through to the second part of the presentation. Nima?
Okay, thank you so much, Sonia. In this presentation, I will run you through some of the scholarships that are listed on the UTS website. You will find many more scholarships on the UTS website. So on the left, there are scholarships that are automatically assessed. So once you lodge or submit a complete application with your academic record, based on your merit. So we will check whether you meet the scholarship requirement or not. It will be automatically assessed. So once you meet the scholarship, we will deduct the scholarship amount from your deposit amount on the letter of offer. So some of the scholarships are UTS Undergraduate Academic Excellence International Scholarship. So these are for the undergraduate applicants, and you will receive a 25% scholarship for the total duration of the course. So the other one is the UTS Postgraduate Academic Excellence Scholarship. So this one also is for postgraduate applicants. If you meet the scholarship requirement, you will deposit 25% less scholarship. And this scholarship applies for the total duration of your postgraduate degree at UTS. The UTS Alumni Advantage, this is a 10% alumni discount. So if you have completed a UTS course and you meet the entry requirement for the course that you have applied for, you will automatically get a 10% alumni advantage discount. The fourth scholarship listed here that is automatically assessed is the UTS Enroll Nurse International Scholarship. So if you have completed a recognized Diploma of Enroll Nurse program in Australia, and you meet the entry requirement for the 2-year Bachelor of Nursing with the 48 credit point exemptions, then you are automatically eligible for the scholarship. So on the right, we have listed some of the scholarships that require a separate formal application for the scholarship. So once you have submitted the UTS course application and met the requirement and provided all the academic record, you may also submit a formal application for the Vice Chancellor's International Undergraduate Scholarship, which is a 100% scholarship. Once again, it is merit-based, and the pool of students who will apply, if you meet the requirement for the scholarship, you will be contacted with the outcome of the scholarship. If your scholarship was unsuccessful, you will also be notified via email. So the other scholarship is the UTS Foundation Studies Scholarship. So these are for the students who have completed the UTS Foundation Studies and are coming as a pathway student for the UTS Bachelor degree. So the next one is the UTS College to UTS Pathway Scholarship. These are for the students who have completed a diploma at UTS College and are coming as a pathway student to the UTS Bachelor degrees. The next one is the International Baccalaureate Scholarship. So if you have completed that course, IB course, and if you meet the entry requirement for the UTS Bachelor degree and the scholarship requirements, you may submit the formal application for the scholarship. The last one is the Vice Chancellor's International Postgraduate Scholarship. This is a 100% scholarship for the postgraduate course. Once again, you have to submit a UTS application and a formal application for the scholarship. For the formal application for scholarship, please do check the UTS website for the the last date to apply for the scholarship and all the conditions and criteria of the scholarship, because it is very important that you submit it on time, and the panel will decide whether you meet the scholarship requirements, and the outcome will be provided to you. These are only some of the examples of the scholarships. So all the up-to-date latest scholarship provided by UTS to international students is listed on our UTS website. We will share the link on the chat section, and you may find it useful to go through the scholarship conditions and criteria and the critical dates when the last date to apply. So good luck. So today's presentation is mainly for the undergraduate and postgraduate coursework. So this is some of the examples that we can give you. So undergraduate applications, so the minimum entry requirement we're looking at is a high school or year 12 equivalent to an Australian year 12 that you have completed in your home country or around in Australia. So we will look at the entry requirement ATA cutoff. So basically for a Bachelor of Business or Bachelor of Engineering, there will be different cutoffs. These are listed on the UTS Undergraduate Course Guide. We will share the link with you so you can compare for example, if you're interested in Bachelor of Science in IT or a Bachelor of Engineering, you can compare the entry requirement, which course you're applying for. And so those who do not successfully complete the recognized, so those who do not meet the entry requirement for UTS course, so they have the option of doing the pathway program. So we will either refer you to the UTS college, or if you have ticked in the application form that you authorize us to submit, to transfer your application to the UTS college, we can pass your application to the UTS college to contact you regarding the eligibility for either doing the UTS foundation or a UTS diploma to bachelor. So if you do not meet the entry requirement directly to UTS, the pathway program is also a very useful and very good way of getting into UTS, because one of them you will do the foundation program and come as a UTS bachelor degree first year student. But if you do the diploma at UTS college, you will come as a second year student at UTS, as most of the courses will give you up to 1 year credit recognition. So for example, Bachelor of Business, Bachelor of Engineering, Bachelor of Science in IT, these courses you will come as a second year student. So you will get up to 48 credit point exemption, which is equivalent to 1 year. And for example, Diploma of Business student will only need to do Bachelor of Business at UTS for 2 more years. So total duration will not change. Total duration of the course still remains 3 years with the diploma and the bachelor. So below we have just listed some of the examples of the year 12 equivalent. The list of countries that have equivalent to year 12, or if you need a 1 year bachelor, we have listed country-wise on the UTS website for minimum entry requirement. We will share the link with you. If you have any questions, you can let us know at the end. So postgraduate minimum and course entry requirements. Earlier, my colleague Sonia also has highlighted some of the requirements for the course, but minimum entry requirement for the UTS postgraduate course, we are looking at a recognized bachelor degree equivalent to an Australian bachelor degree. So most of them are academic performance will be considered. So we may check the fail rate, or we may check the percentage required for the course. Once again, the minimum entry requirement is listed on the UTS course guide, which we will share the link for the postgraduate, and also on the UTS course handbook. So each course will have a minimum course entry requirement. And sometimes some of the courses may also list additional documents required. So for example, the evidence of work experience, digital portfolio, or a personal statement. These will have to be sent to the faculty for assessment, and we will give you the outcome once all of them have been provided. So English requirement, earlier my colleague has also mentioned, but here I can just share with you, basically the courses that require minimum English requirement, the IELTS 6.5 and 6. So it will be like a completion of an assessable qualification undertaken in English in various countries. The countries are listed on the UTS website, and we will share the link with you on the chat section, so you can check whether your English can be met or not. So equivalent to IELTS 6.5 and 6, also we offer the UTS College AE5 English program, academic English program. So you have the option of undertaking the AE5 course, and if you pass the English course at UTS College, you will meet the English requirement for equivalent to IELTS 6.5 overall and 6 in writing. So other acceptable English language tests we accept are the IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, CAE, and OET. Once again, for the more detailed requirements for different faculties, like for Bachelor of Nursing, for some of the communication and education courses, some courses have a higher English requirement. So please look faculty-based and course-specific English requirement on the UTS website. So for 2022, it's a very exciting time. So it's already time to start applying. You do not have to wait till the closing date. You can apply anytime from now until 30 November for the autumn session 2022. So, and then the spring session, the last date to apply is 15 July. So there's no opening date, because I heard some countries have the opening date. For UTS, we don't have opening. So you can apply anytime in the year for the future intake. Just allow a sufficient time for application and application assessment, application outcome, visa applications. So don't leave it till late. Give yourself enough time to apply. And once, like Sonia has gone through the application to acceptance step by step. So basically application closing date is listed here. And the orientation will be like 7th of February for autumn session 2022. And classes will commence on 22 February. So giving yourself enough time to attend the enrollment. So these dates will kind of give you a guideline. And for the spring intake, so orientation will commence from 25th of July, and the classes will commence on 1st of August. So please allow sufficient time for application, acceptance, enrollment. And another thing is, due to the events that we are having, we have the application fee waiver. So we will share the code with you on the chat section, so UTS 9-9GEANL. So the application fee waiver is valid until 31 December 2021. Normally there's a $100 application fee, but due to the events and promotions, we have waived the application fee. So I hope you will find it useful. So lastly, once the session is over, if you still have questions, you can send your inquiries to international@uts.edu.au with any inquiries that you may have here. So thank you once again for being so patient with us. And then I hope you found the session useful. We will take questions from you shortly. Please put your questions on the chat section, and we will try and answer all your questions. Any questions that we don't get to, we will email separately. So once again, wrapping up the session, we wish all of you the best, very best, and we look forward to welcoming you at UTS. And for a successful application, please make sure you check your application form. Make sure that everything is complete, your course, your intake, the year you want to apply for, your home country address, making sure that you appoint your agent, making sure your documents are very clear to read and complete documents. So we can start the assessment process, and then we will advise you if anything is missing. But number one is to start your application is complete, very complete. And also there's a section in the application form where you can take, if your application is not successful, would you authorize us to submit your application to UTS College? This will save you time. So if you do authorize us and your application is unsuccessful, we will refer your application directly to the pathway provider, and then you will be contacted accordingly. So once again, good luck, and Sonia and I will be here taking your questions. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So thanks, everyone. I hope that was interesting. We do have some great questions in the Q&A box. Maybe I might start with one, Sonia, if you can help me out. Can international students fill both the application for admission and scholarships?
Thanks, Christy. That's a good question. So basically, when you apply at UTS, we would usually assess your application for scholarship as well. So we would, at application stage, assess both your scholarship and also your admission eligibility. So if you are eligible, you would either receive the 25% scholarship if you're applying for undergraduate courses, or there is a 25% or the 35% scholarship for postgraduate courses. There are, for the higher value scholarships, like the 100% tuition fee scholarships or the 50% international baccalaureate scholarship, you need to apply separately. So make sure you check the UTS website under scholarships and check out when the application deadline are. If you're applying for autumn 2022, next year in February, applications for the 100% tuition fee scholarship or the 50% scholarship for the international baccalaureate or the UTS Vice Chancellor international scholarship, that are actually open in November for 1 month, from the 1st of November till the 30th of November. So make sure you apply separately for those scholarship applications that requires a separate application.
Okay. Oh yeah. All right. Thank you, Christy, for asking the question. Sorry, my video took a little while to open. I think some internet issues. Thank you for that. And thank you for so many questions that we have received. Most of them we have answered. There seems to be some common questions. How can attendees access and use the application fee waiver to submit the application to UTS? Christy, if you can help with this question.
Okay, thanks, Nima. So good question. So hopefully a lot of people have been online this week, either attended some of the faculty sessions, or perhaps you were lucky enough to join the student discussion panels hearing what our current students are experiencing in studies online and how they're connecting with their peers. Basically, by registering for the International Virtual Open Week, you'll receive an email next week that will include the application fee waiver code, which has also been shared in the chat today as well and in the presentation. And also include a recording of the session. So if you did miss a session that you wanted to attend, you'll be able to catch up on that. If you want to rewatch the session that you're watching right now, you can catch up on that next week as well. So when you are applying to UTS, you'll lodge your application online. So if you're using an education agent, they'll be able to lodge the application on your behalf. You will need to sign an authority form to permit that agent to lodge your application on your behalf, or you can sign the application form itself and they can lodge that as evidence that you've completed the acknowledgements that you need to complete when lodging the application. Then if you are lodging the application yourself online, you will receive a prompt and it will ask you to pay the application fee, and that's where you can enter the application fee waiver or fee voucher code.
Yeah, thank you, Christy. Yeah, that will really help with the initial stage of the application as well. Sonia, if I can ask you the next question, which seems to be quite a popular question in the chat. So must the student use an agent, apply through an agent, or can I apply directly?
Thanks, Seema. So there are certain regions that requires you to apply through an education agent. So with if you're applying through an education agent, there are a lot of benefits. So for example, they can help you with your documentation verification. They can also help with the financial documentations, and they can also help with your student visa application, which can be quite a hassle. But if you do have an education agent, they can help you with your student visa applications to make it a more easier process for you. And they can also help you with your application from the start till the end of your application journey. And UTS agents, they are very knowledgeable, so they know a lot of information about UTS courses, scholarships, ranking, support and services that are available to you as an international student. So those are the benefits of having a UTS education agent. Please make sure that if you apply through an agent, you must apply through a UTS agent that is based on your country of citizenship. If there is no agent in your country of citizenship, then make sure you choose an agent that is located in your neighboring country.
I might just jump in as well, Sonia. You've listed so many things that are really important in terms of preparing for the student journey and why the agent is really helpful. And I guess another aspect to it as well is that that agent has been working, as you mentioned, with UTS for many years. They have a thorough knowledge of the student journey and the process. They also have a number of students who have already done the journey before you. So they have the insights to help you as well with that advice that you may not receive if you're doing that process by yourself.
Definitely, yeah. I think most students have given very positive feedback with the application process also, very smooth application process. And another question, Christy, if I may ask you, I think that one seems to be quite a number of inquiries we got for this question is, can the student apply before completing their current bachelor or year 12 to UTS? I think there's about 9 or 10 questions for that one.
Okay, so I'll try and cover it so I answer everyone's different aspect or their different stories. But in general, yes. So when you're applying to UTS, we do have admission requirements. So say for undergraduate, it may be the completion of your GCE A levels or your HSC or your IB. And when you apply to UTS, if you can provide evidence that you're currently studying that program and indicate to us that you're going to complete that at a certain time prior to admission to UTS, we can issue what's called a conditional letter of offer. And that's similar for postgraduate as well. So you may still be enrolled in your bachelor degree. You may be seeking to start at UTS perhaps in July next year, and you may not complete your bachelor until June. So that's not a problem for us. We can have a look at your transcripts until date, see how you're progressing in your bachelor degree, and again, we can issue a conditional letter. And the conditional letter will include the terms that you need to meet in order to receive that letter of offer for unconditional admission, where you can accept the offer, receive the COE, and continue to the enrolment process for your subjects and timetable.
Okay, and then so we have another question, Sonia, for the MBA program, if I don't meet the entry requirement for MBA, how can I still study the MBA course?
So if you don't meet the entry requirement for MBA, there are actually several options. One is to do the GMAT and meet the requirement. You can also do the graduate diploma leading to the Masters of Business Administration. Total duration will still be the same. It will be 2 years duration. You will study 1 year for your graduate diploma, and you will receive 48 credit points for your Masters of Business Administration. So instead of doing it for 2 years for your Masters of Business Administration, because you've done the graduate diploma for 1 year, you'll also receive the credits for what you've done in the graduate diploma. So that reduces your Master's duration, but in total, the duration will still be 2 years. So that's an option as well. There are also work experience. So if you do have work experience, we can take that into account for admissions as well.
Okay, we'll share the link for the MBA entry requirement as well. And another question we got, this one is quite a common question as well. Christy, if I may ask you, if the English proficiency test is later on in the year, and the application has already been closed, I think we don't have an application closing time anyway. So will I still be able to submit the results, and will my application still be processed without the English results?
Yeah, good question. And I probably should have added that in the last explanation I gave. So I was talking about academic qualifications in my last response, and the same thing applies to English. So when you look at the course guides or the handbooks, it'll show you the academic and English language requirements. If you need to sit an IELTS or a PTE or a TOEFL test for admission, and you're not ready to sit that test, but you want to check if you're academically eligible for the program at UTS, you can apply now or whenever you have your documents ready. And then you can receive, perhaps if you are eligible for academic admission, you'll receive a conditional letter awaiting your English language proficiency documents. And that will give you the indication that you can go ahead and sit that test and then provide the results later. Nima did share the application closing dates earlier. So in general, we'd hope, while the borders are closed, that you could apply to UTS at least 2 months prior to the intake that you're looking for. So that'll give enough time for our team to assess the application. If there's any documentation missing, we can go back to you or your agent and discuss those documents. It also gives you time to prepare to accept the offer and get ready for your studies as well. So in that sense, in terms of applying now and having that timeline, it is good if you are thinking about applying for next year. The earlier, the better.
Okay, thank you, Christy. That's really useful information. And Sonia, if I could ask you, I think we seem to get similar questions, but I guess that's also something students really want to know. So Sonia, some of the students said they don't have the official mark sheet, but they will complete next year. So can they apply now with the unofficial results? And will the scholarship be considered now or later once they have finished their degree?
Thanks, Nima. Thank you for the question. So basically what we do is when we receive your application, you need to make sure that you provide whatever documentations that you have. So that includes the semester 1 or semester 7 that you have up to date. So provide us with the documentations that you have up to date so that we can assess your application. If you don't have your results for, say, semester 8 because you are still currently studying your bachelor degree, that's not a problem. You can still provide your unofficial mark sheets. So usually the unofficial mark sheets, it can be verified by your principal. If you don't have it, we can put that as a condition letter as long as we are able to determine that you've met the entry requirement or you are likely to meet the entry requirement, we will put that as a condition. So one of the conditions is that you'll need to successfully complete your bachelor degree, for example, with no more than 25% for engineering courses, or if there's a GPA requirement. So that will be included on the conditional offer letter. And if you haven't completed your bachelor degree, we would assess your scholarship eligibility once you receive your semester 8 or semester 6 results. So it is an automatic assessment. So you don't have to worry about applying or asking us about whether or not you received your scholarship, because when we receive your final documentations, we will definitely assess your application for both admissions and also scholarship.
Okay, thank you, Sonia. That was a good answer. Another concern of a student, Christy, if I may ask you, a student has asked, do I need to pay the semester fee in advance before arriving in Australia, or can I pay after arrival?
Good question. So as international applicants, what would happen is if you're eligible for an offer to study at UTS, in that offer would be a request to return the acceptance form. If you're using an agent, they'll need to complete the agent checklist, and you'll also need to provide a copy of your passport and the payment of the deposit. So the deposit is usually a reflection of 24 credit points, which could be 4 subjects if you're doing 6 credit point subjects, or 3 if you're doing 8 credit point subjects. And if you are offshore though, what we have put in place while the borders remain closed and to help you adjust to online learning, you do have the option to reduce your study load. So if you're thinking about doing perhaps 2 subjects instead of 4 subjects, when you receive the letter of offer, you can pay 50% of the deposit to accept the offer. And then if you do enroll in more than the 12 credit points of subjects, you just pay the additional once you're enrolled.
Okay, now coming to the end, we are almost near the closing session. And like Christy mentioned earlier, the video and the application waiver voucher code, all the information of this International Virtual Week will be shared with you next week. Finally, wrapping up, let's get to the fun questions. One of the students has said, any one of in the panel, or I will answer also, is the sports a big thing in UTS?
Oh, I like this question. I might jump in.
Yes.
It's an interesting question, and I guess there's a lot of ways to answer it. And I guess my first one would be, are we a sporty group of students and support staff? Do we have sports programs, or do we have sports facilities? So there's a few answers I could give, but I'd probably start with so the location of UTS. We're a city university. You can see the images behind Sonia, Nima and I. So we do have limited space in the city to provide huge sporting facilities. So what is a really great surprise at UTS, and you wouldn't know it if you were just crossing through the campus, is that we actually have an underground sports hall. So if you're into sports, say basketball, volleyball, some indoor sports that use those courts, there is a court available on the campus for UTS students. So a lot of clubs do use that. So you might want to look up as well, UTS Activate, look at the social clubs and see what opportunities are there as well. There are a lot of sporting clubs. So everyone might have been tuning online to watch the Olympics recently. So some of the UTS rowing students were actually in those teams. And so it's really exciting to be able to see those students move on and participate in the Olympics. So in that aspect, I guess we are sporty. We do have also the Moore Park site as well. So if you are thinking about some undergraduate studies in sport and exercise science or sport and exercise management, we do have those facilities which were specifically built for the students in those programs.
Yeah, and I think extracurriculum, Christy, I noticed some students have those clubs also, like fencing club, rowing, like I think they have their own society and clubs of personal interest.
UTS hockey, yes, so definitely.
Yeah, I think there's lots of students with common interests. They get together and have these catch-ups and sporting activities. So, and sometimes I saw students doing the running or like some activities in between classes also, like there's shower facilities and all these things. So,
and the gym on campus, how could I
forget? Gym on campus is a big bonus. It's walking distance from your classroom. Very, very useful, yeah. And another question was, if students need advice on like careers or assignments, what kind of support the students can get?
Oh, okay. Sorry, Sonia, did you want to jump in, or I'll just start perhaps?
No, yeah, that's okay. We will add on, yeah.
As well, I guess when the recordings are available from International Virtual Open Week, there was a session earlier this week from Careers Office, and there was also one from HELPS. And they're two of the really key support units within UTS if you're an international student or a domestic student. So the Careers Office will be able to provide you advice on whether it's a virtual drop-in to give you advice on your resume or an application you're thinking about submitting, all the way through to career fairs, which we used to do face-to-face, and also online, like virtual options as well to join sessions as well. So that's an opportunity through careers. And then also through helps, there's a lot of academic support there. And one of the good things they're offering at the moment as well is evenings while because in Sydney at the moment, we're in lockdown, you might know. So a lot of the students are logging into the online support on weeknights, and there's peers available to help you through your academic questions. If they're unable to give you the answer that you need, they'll refer you to a service at UTS that can help you as well. There's also conversations at UTS and so forth. So maybe if you guys want to add a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I think being a staff myself, I found Careers Office is open door for staff and students. It's a free service, and they are very encouraging, and even staff who are senior management visit them, like just to get a top up or a refresher. So I really encourage all students, while you are doing your 3-year degree, at least once a term or once a year, pop by, say hello to them, and they can help you with resume, interview skills, and they are very supportive and approachable team there. I found that personally myself as well, yeah.
Just to add as well, we've also got UTS International. So if you have any questions about your course or any administrative issues that you may have, UTS International is always here to support you.
Yeah, your first point of contact. Yeah, that's a really good one, Sonia. And Sonia, maybe the session is about to be over. I think there seems to be quite a lot of accommodation questions. So if I can ask this to Sonia, and then we will also add on. So is there accommodation on campus, or who can use the accommodation?
So we do have UTS accommodation. My brother actually lived in one of the UTS accommodation, and I've been there as well. So it's really nice facilities. The facilities are very brand new. Some of them are quite new. And of course, you can choose from a studio apartment to 2 bedrooms, sharing with 2 to 6 people, depending on your preference, obviously. And also there are a lot of like activities in the UTS housing as well. So there's like cooking classes, there's like gaming area for students to play around during the breaks. There's also cooking classes. There's also a lot of activities that's going on in the UTS accommodation. So I've also shared the link there for you. So if you are new to Australia, UTS accommodation is good for you so that you can mingle with other students from different faculties, from different countries as well. So that's a good point for you to start. And then if you decide to move with your friends after, say, a session, you can do that as well. But it's just a good platform for you to, just stay in Australia. And if it's your first time here, that's a good way for you as well, because it's quite close to the UTS campus. It's also within walking distance. If you have classes at 9 o'clock, you can probably wake up 5 minutes before classes start, but that's your preference. Anything to add, Nima and Christy?
For the accommodations for students?
I think you guys have covered a lot of the main details about it, and I think your personal experience, Sonia, is really useful.
Yeah. And the last question to Christy for tonight, before we wrap up, some mature age students have said that they have had a big gap in their study. So can they still apply to UTS, and do they need to provide CV or personal statement or academic record?
Yeah, good question. So in general, you can still apply to UTS. If you have had a big gap in your studies, you will need to provide a personal statement to say why you do have that gap and address what you've been doing during that time. Depending on the program that you're applying for as well, there may be an opportunity to go through a pathway depending on your history in terms of what you have studied, what you need as an entry requirement, and where you're at in that journey of your studies.
Okay, thank you, Christy and Sonia, and thank you everybody for attending this event. I hope you found it useful. We are not just here in the session, we are there for you throughout the year. So please feel free to reach out to us, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. See you in Sydney.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.